When it comes to Kendrick Lamar, things just got shocking. If you're wondering why his show was suddenly canceled at the last minute, there's a lot more to it than a simple scheduling issue. Something way more concerning is brewing inside the industry. People are working overtime to chip away at the king of rap's image and integrity. This one's serious, so hit that like and subscribe, because the way the media is downplaying it and the way people are reporting on this cancellation shows a clear push to paint Kendrick in a bad light. They're trying to pin lies to his name, all while chaos surrounds his tour. As I've been saying, there's something going on behind the scenes. Powerful people are upset with Kendrick and trying to push him down a notch. We need to stay alert so we don't fall for the trap of letting them strip away a leader of rap, the very voice the culture needs right now. So for real, leave those likes. It's never been more important, and let's break it down. For those who don't know, Kendrick just played for 65,000 fans in Mexico, his first ever fully solo show on the Grand National Tour, and it was insane, an all-time moment. Let's get the facts straight and make sure everyone sees the truth. His show kicked off the tour with a bang. By date 3, Kendrick was packing crowds no rapper has touched in years. The audience looked insane, wall-to-wall people, and honestly, nobody in the game right now is coming close to these numbers. Yeah, maybe not ever. But here's where it gets weird. The second show of the Grand National Tour, set for September 27th in Colombia, was abruptly canceled just about an hour before showtime. Fans were stunned, and then an official statement dropped. We regret to inform you that due to logistical difficulties from the promoter and the venue, the Grand National Tour show scheduled for tonight has been postponed. The artist was ready to perform. They apologized, but frustration was already boiling over. Yet even with that official line about logistical difficulties, there's way more going on here. Before breaking down why the show really got canceled, we've got to talk about the false narratives being spun around Kendrick, attempts to chip away at his reputation and star power while twisting his moves into something they're not. This is the same guy selling out stadiums worldwide, yet now certain corners of the internet, especially some on Drake's side, are posting fake seating maps or zooming in on tiny empty spots to make it look like his shows aren't full. It's all part of a bigger push to discredit him. Let's look at this with logic. The venue held 80,000 people, and even if Kendrick pulled only 70,000, the show was still going to be massive. But here's the thing. For the folks who treat music like a math problem, chasing gotcha moments online and ignoring the art, Kendrick Lamar isn't Drake. He's not playing the rap game with a calculator. What that means is simple. If the stadiums sell out, amazing. If they don't, Kendrick isn't out here just to flex numbers or pretend he's bigger than everyone else. His mission is bigger. He's not chasing charts, he's chasing impact. As an artist and visionary, Kendrick is about telling stories and reaching whoever is willing to listen. And yeah, Drake fans won't like this, but while their favorite plays it safe as the face of the league, Kendrick's pushing messages that shake culture. For people who don't even get what hip-hop really is, the ones calling something like the Tuesday slide real rap. Let's clear this up. Kendrick Lamar is not a clout chaser. Whether he's got 5 fans or 500 million, nothing about his art or effort changes. That's the difference. And we've already seen it. His Mr. Morale era proved it. An album built on raw, personal themes, not designed for radio play or chart gimmicks. Kendrick doesn't bend to the system. He bends the system to him. His Mr. Morale songs were built only to tell a personal story. And then GNX came. A much bigger, more accessible album with wider appeal. Record to record, tour to tour, people should see the pattern. And that's why it makes zero sense to think Kendrick Lamar would cancel a show for no reason. Let's use some logic here. If every other stop on this Grand National Tour has been a full sellout, and even the weakest date in Houston still packed 96% of the venue according to crowd photos and release data, why would this one be any different? For the Cupcake fans, it might sting, but the numbers don't lie. Ask yourself, would Kendrick, who's been crushing every stop, suddenly decide to pull the plug on a show like this? It just doesn't add up. And when you look at the official statement alongside his track record, the story speaks for itself. The artist was ready. The issue wasn't on him. But here's the real kicker. Parts of the media are trying to bury that statement or twist the whole situation to make Kendrick look unprofessional, like he doesn't have the influence he clearly shows night after night. Hip-hop is shifting right now, and you can see a calculated push to downplay Kendrick Lamar, to chip away at his standing and make him look smaller than he is. When I look at this whole situation, it feels obvious. It's because Kendrick has been dominating every single rapper and refuses to play the industry's shady games. In a world where most artists complain instead of making great music, Kendrick stands out, and that alone makes people furious. Think about it. Reporters acted like there was no official statement, when in reality there was. Then they twisted the story, implying his whole tour was about to collapse, all just to smear his name. Why? Because people can't stand that one man can be this good, with no one even close to touching him. The truth is, the music industry is stranger than we imagined. They're not just ignoring Kendrick. Some are actively rooting against him, pushing fans to turn on the very guy carrying the whole rap genre on his back. That kind of sabotage is wild to watch. So let's clear this up and get to the real reason behind the chaos. The statement put out was accurate. Kendrick was fully ready to perform. The cancellation came down to one thing only: logistical issues that made the show impossible to run. And now it's time to break down exactly why that happened. Here's the truth. Once you start adding tour stops outside the US and Europe, things instantly get harder in the music world. And it's not because Kendrick doesn't have fans waiting. He clearly does. We just saw him pack out a massive show. The real issue is how complex these concerts are to pull off. If we're being real, this isn't about pointing fingers at Kendrick with lies or weak excuses. What's happening comes down to logistics. The further the venues are, especially arenas and stadiums that aren't built for major sports teams like the NBA or NFL, the harder it gets. Those big sports stadiums already meet strict regulations, but other locations don't, and that's when problems hit. For an artist like Kendrick, or even Tyler, the Creator, these aren't just shows. They're full-scale productions, almost like laboratories. You've got pyro, giant props, and moving stage parts. Kendrick's GNX setup alone has a center stage that literally opens up, revealing huge pieces like the glowing dice and the massive red GNX cube. Performers and dancers are moving in and out while all of this is happening live. And when a venue isn't equipped for that kind of setup, it becomes a nightmare to install everything safely and on time. That's the real challenge. Not ticket sales, not hype, but the technical side of putting on a world-class production at a stadium that isn't built for it. Kendrick's show wasn't just about a stage and a mic. We're talking risers shooting into the sky, moving stage doors, and a setup so complex it feels like an engineering project. The middle section alone, with its giant moving parts, takes an entire team just to function right. This is no simple stage. It's a massive machine built to move with the music. And I've got proof the venue wasn't ready for that level of production. The way they scrambled to prepare on the day of the show looked messy from the start. The structure itself wasn't equipped to hold what Kendrick's GNX tour demands. So when his team finally saw the place up close, it became obvious. This stop just couldn't deliver the same world-class performance he's been running everywhere else. This is the kind of behind-the-scenes truth you'll only catch if you dig past the headlines. Instead of wild claims trying to tear down the man carrying rap right now, the real story is simple. The venue couldn't handle the scale of the show. And let's be real, these high-level productions are something Drake stans don't know about. A Drake concert is basically a stage plan with him doing random stuff for 2 hours. Kendrick's GNX, on the other hand, is a full-blown spectacle, loaded with effects and moving parts, the kind of show that needs a venue built for greatness. Now, here's the thing, when you compare shows that properly build arenas versus venues that aren't, you start to see why some events just can't happen. And I'm speaking from real experience in live touring. I've seen massive artists forced to cancel last minute, hours before showtime, even in the US. And it's never about being unprofessional. It's about technical limits that real artists can't work around no matter how hard they try. Let me give you a quick story. Last summer, I was around when Childish Gambino hit the road for his Bando Stone record on the New World Tour. It was an incredible show. But when he hit an arena without NBA-level infrastructure, the problem started. These places aren't Madison Square Garden or Barclays Center. They don't have the built-in setups to handle the weight of giant stages, heavy effects, and moving props. Gambino had to release a statement explaining why the show couldn't go forward. Simply put, the venue couldn't hold the stage design together. And trust me, for an artist pouring everything into the craft, that's the worst-case scenario. And that's why Kendrick's situation makes sense. It's not about him being unprofessional or lazy. It's about trying to run one of the most advanced productions in rap at a building that wasn't built to handle it. For an artist at this level, the venue is just as important as the music. Now, I know fans wonder, why not just skip the effects and let Kendrick perform with a mic and speakers? Sounds simple, right? But it's not. Two big reasons. First, the stage operators and production crews have strict rules. If everything isn't 100% safe and functioning, the show cannot move forward without risking serious problems. And second, artists at Kendrick's level refuse to cut corners on their vision. Take Childish Gambino, for example. I remember when his team had to cancel a show just hours before it started because the setup wasn't ready. And instead of winging it, he stood firm. Why? Because he cared too much about the art to reduce it to some half-done performance. That's the difference between elite artists and the typical rappers throwing together meh tours. And Kendrick, he's even more meticulous. These shows aren't random sets with a backing track. They're fully crafted experiences built around visuals, storytelling, pyro, and stage design. If one piece is missing, the whole picture falls apart, and he won't cheat fans with a watered-down version. When you do get to see it all come together live, it's mind-blowing. Every visual, every break, every transition tells part of a story. That's why people walk away from Kendrick's shows saying it feels like something bigger than just a concert. It's an atmosphere no other rapper is giving right now. This is the whole point. Kendrick's Grand National Tour isn't a regular rap concert. This isn't Drake pacing back and forth while the background vocals carry the songs. No. This is bigger, bolder, and meant to be something unforgettable. From start to finish, every track is staged like an elaborate plot, with visuals and effects pushing the boundaries of what live storytelling in hip-hop can be. That's why the Grand National Tour feels historic. Every song has layers, visuals, effects, choreography, and Kendrick refuses to half-step it. You can't just phone this in, not with the kind of detail he's putting into every single performance. So when a venue can't handle the scale of it, the decision to cancel suddenly makes sense. And let's not ignore the fact that Kendrick is pulling this off in markets that most major artists skip because of how tough they are logistically. That alone shows his vision, pushing rap further than we've ever seen, redefining what it means to be the face of the league. He's raising the bar in real time. But here's where it gets messy. Certain industry forces clearly don't like it. They'd rather paint him as difficult or unprofessional when the truth is he cares too much about the art to give fans anything less than greatness. And if we're really breaking down why this show got canceled, it wasn't laziness, it wasn't hype, it was Kendrick refusing to compromise, proving again that his standard is higher than anyone else's. So when you really break it down, this wasn't about Kendrick being unprepared or sloppy. It was about him caring too much to give fans anything less than the full vision. That's the difference between him and the rest, and that's why the industry is so pressed about his every move. They can spin headlines all they want, but the truth is clear. Kendrick Lamar is operating on a level nobody else in rap is even touching. But now I want to know what you think. Was this cancellation just a logistical mess, or is there really a bigger plan to tear down Kendrick's legacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be checking them out. And don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your people so we can keep exposing the real story the industry doesn't want you to hear.